Hi, good morning, everyone, and happy Valentine's Day to all. A hearty welcome to the February 2017 edition of the newly GIS Conversation webinar series on Discovering the Secret Value Your Data Holds with Insights for ArcGIS. I'm Felicia, and I'll be your host for today's webinar. Happy to see that we have a great mix of participants ranging from education, local governments, commercials, and business partners joining us today. And not to mention our guests from overseas as well. Look forward to interacting with all of you as the program progresses. Before we start, let's do some quick housekeeping. This webinar is being recorded and it will be available by the beginning of the next week. You will be receiving an email that includes the link to the recorded webinar. It will be available on the landing page of the GIS Conversation program. Please feel free to visit and give us your feedback on the contents. While the webinar is happening, please feel free to send us your questions through the Q&A panel, and we will address them at the end of the session. Finally, we will wrap up with some quick announcement. Okay, let's start with a quick introduction to Esri for the benefit of our friends who are joining us for the first time. Esri is the market leader in geospatial solutions, and for the past 40 years, we have been providing cutting-edge spatial solutions to hundreds of organizations across the globe to leverage spatial insights using its powerful yet intuitive tools and templates. Esri Singapore is the Singapore-based entity that supports the in-country clients with implementations and training since 1981 and serve more than 700 clients. We have great presentation lineup for you today, but before we get rolling, I would like to take a minute to introduce our speaker for the session, Kam Chong. Casey holds a Bachelor of Science Honours in Information Systems and Management from University of London. Working with Esri Singapore, Casey leverages on his passion for GIS to demonstrate Esri technology to clients and business partners. Prior to his current role, he has been involved in conducting GIS-related trainings and assisting local customers with their technical questions. As part of the business solutions team in Esri Singapore, I'm actively involved in covering geospatial solutions on the Esri ArcGIS platform for clients and business partners to help organizations get value, added insights from spatial technology. This year, we are introducing a new app called Insights for ArcGIS. This is an app that I think will transform understanding using data exploration or exploratory analytics. This app is very intuitive, it's very visual, it's very responsive, and responds to quite large data set. Hope that sounds as exciting to you as it is for me. And with this, I would like now to turn the time over to Casey. Casey.
Okay, thank you, Felicia. Hello, everyone. I'm Kam Chong, or Casey from Esri Singapore. So I'm pleased to discuss our new capability that we have created for performing spatial analysis. It's an experience that enables users to gain understanding from their data, both spatially and non-spatially, using exploration, analysis, and in geographic context. We have developed a new capability for ArcGIS called Insights. It is a new experience for exploratory and interactive analysis of your data. We are introducing a new workbook concept for ArcGIS that utilizes not only visual maps, but also charts and tables as well, all created in a very easy to use, fast, and intuitive environment. Insights is designed to allow you to ask questions of your raw data, find answers, and discover patterns. More than often, it's an iterative process designed to perform many different scenarios to reveal discoveries in your data quickly. So rather than a detailed explanation, let's see in action. In this scenario, our company recently introduced a new promotion enticing customers to make use of our banking platform to perform more transactions, for example, investment services. I'm tasked to find out if such efforts have a significant impact on our figures. Insights for ArcGIS allows me to associate rows from 2 or more data sets. Here are some transaction data sets I have, with some of the customer ID, the date time of the transaction, the platform, the amount, and the promotion code that they are using. Together with it, I have some customers' data, some age, gender, and some of the type, and more importantly, the ID of the customer. I can create links based on the common fields from my data set. Let me choose the common ID that they have, which is customer ID. I've just created a relationship based on the 2 data sets or common field with the customer ID. Now I can visualize my transactions information and customer information together. I can visualize them on the workbook as a map, and also some of the transactions data as a heat map, as there are too many points I would like to see where the density are. I could also see the information in a chart. As you can see, just by a few drag and drop, I can create maps and charts. And also as I drag my temporal data, you can see that it immediately gives me a timeline. As I click on the chart, everything else interacts. With this relationship, I can explore the patterns within. For example, for the age group of 38 to 42, I have 39 customers within this age group. And where's the density of the transactions being made? And also, what are the dates that they actually made these transactions? Now let's focus on how did our promotion went. So to do so, I'll need to overlay my marketing promotion details and aggregate my transactions. All I did was just to drag and drop my layer onto the card. It was as simple as overlaying a polygon. Throughout my analysis, I have statistics about my data. By clicking on any point, I can see the value and how it compares to the mean to pick out some of the high areas. Or rather, at the back of my card, I have the overall statistics reported to me. This data is available to me at any time of my analysis. Now I need to understand the transaction amount made for each sector. Rather than a traditional bar chart, I can visualize this information as a tree map. Now I can see that downtown has more transaction amount made. Or rather, I can view this information as a bubble chart. Not only this, I can visualize my information details as a table. It is often through this interactivity that we start to get discovery from our data. Looking at downtown, we see that the marketing effort and also the number of transactions, comparing to Outram, we might have the similar marketing efforts, but there's a very huge difference in the transaction amount made. Comparing to Kallang, there's a less transactions made, but there's actually lesser marketing efforts directed at it. To drill down further, I can visualize a scatter plot. Scatter plot allows me to explore the relationship between my data. Do the transactions amount actually increases with more marketing efforts? It seems like they do. But if I add linear statistics, I can say that it's actually a weak relationship. Now I can report these findings. But what if I need to repeat this analysis with new data? Throughout my whole analysis, everything I've done is recorded. Insights created a model of my workflow. Everything I've done is documented. Now I can share this model to my colleagues and rerun the same analysis by changing the input. So here are some of the key components we have just went through. An analytic project starts with your workbook. Workbooks are where you organize your thoughts. For example, earlier on, I was looking at exploring some of the promotion, whether they will affect my figures. Pages. Pages are ways that you can actually organize your study. For example, in page 1, I'm exploring and also I can visualize my results of my operations in cards. For example, earlier on, I was dragging and drop my data into table, charts, and maps. And also not forgetting the model which you saw earlier on in the analysis view, where all of my steps are actually recorded and documented. So Insights for ArcGIS is part of the 10.5 So what are some of the data that we'll work with? For example, hosted feature services. Like if workbooks with multiple spreadsheets, you can also make use of them. And of course, geodatabases. You can also connect directly to relational databases. And of course, connecting your big data to explore the pattern or relationships, harnessing real-time data, and embracing smarter insights. So we've made adding data coming from many disparate data sources a similar and simple and consistent process. You can actually add the data from an add button from the disparate set of whether you're adding enterprise data or Excel workbooks, the process is the same. Start with the questions to help you find answers. Insights allow you to start asking questions with your data and are easily accessible in the same environment so that there's no break in the flow of exploring and analyzing. For example, you can see the question is what's nearby. Within that, you can actually create some buffers, find the nearest location, or you can actually calculate drive times. So here are some different spatially oriented questions you can ask and discover in Insights. How is it distributed or clustered? Within that are tools which will help you to summarize within, calculate density, do a classification, histogram, or even hotspots. If you want to find nearby, you can make use of spatial tools such as find nearest, spatial selection, buffers, or even routing. How has it changed over time? You can calculate the percentage change, overlay them with information, or even have a line graph to tell you this information. How is it related or different? You can actually overlay or find similar. Or from my presentation, you can actually do a scatter plot to find a relationship between your data. Analysis through interactivity. So Insights is designed to work in a interactive process using drag and drop, which you've seen earlier on, as well as iterative process where you can ask many questions, try different results to obtain answers, allowing you to focus on the questions and not on the tools. These tools are easily accessible where you are working so that there's no break in the flow of exploring and analyzing. Once you have analyzed and answered your questions, Insights can share the information in a variety of ways. You can share the workbooks or pages. You can share specific cards on the interactive pages. You can also share the stories by creating PowerPoints or story map. Lastly, you can also share them as a model, like you saw earlier on, or you can share the page to your colleagues. So in conclusion, using Insights is a way to get answers of your data, get the answers you need, document the work along the way, and share your information with others. So now I'll hand over to Felicia for some of the questions and answers that you might have.
Okay, I think we are going to answer some questions over here. Okay, Casey, do you have any question posted on the panel itself?
Let me take a look. Okay, there are some questions, so probably one of them is in Insights, a desktop application or a web application. So access to Insights is actually through a web browser. Like what I've done is actually on my laptop, or actually you can connect through a tablet device on a web browser with an internet connection. So probably let me go through some of the other questions. So what database are being supported? So currently we actually support some hosted feature layers, geodatabases, and also some tabular databases, for example, SQL Server, SAP HANA, Teradata, and some of the Excel spreadsheets. Let me see. So what is the relationship of Insights with the ArcGIS platform? So Insights is a complementary solution to the platform. So everything data or analytics created by Insights, you can actually make use of them. For example, share it to a story map, publish your analysis. You can also share it with ArcGIS Pro. You can actually perform more advanced analysis with the tools that are available in ArcGIS Pro. So can I use the data from Insights across the platform? So yes, Insights publish feature and data layers. You can share this information across the components of the platform. So I think that's all the questions that we will be answering. So maybe I'll pass it back to Felicia.
Okay, well, folks, this brings us to the end of the webinar. Okay, furthermore, we'd like you to actually take part in our upcoming meetup on Insights for ArcGIS the following Friday, 24th February, 3 p.m. at the Esri Singapore office. This is actually a really great opportunity to take your learning further and network with other members and professionals within the local community who share common interests as you. Thank you again for joining, and do stay tuned for the next few sessions on making sense of big data spatially using distributed computations. Leveraging the spatial domain, we can actually look at millions of computers' movement patterns in space-time in a couple of seconds, or look at a 40 billion pixels or raster data set and carry out analytics that might have taken weeks to compute before in a matter of minutes. So yeah, once again, happy Valentine's Day to you. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.